Bellwoods recently started dropping non-alcoholic beers, but to be fair, they were dropping these things here called sparkly waters. Oh, if I swing over.
Oh, yeah, if you want to swing on over.
Look at this one, guys. You're going to love this. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll do it. Beautiful. All right, picture in picture. Hold up. Here we go. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Bellwoods dropped sparkly waters, I want to say sometime last year, and essentially what I believe they are, they're just sparkling water with fruit runoffs from their other fruited beers. So they have extra fruit sitting around, and something like a Jelly King or their the barrel-aged stuff, you don't leave it in there like a smoothie. You take it out, like they're just conditions on that fruit, and then there's a whole bunch of usable fruit, for a second run available. So they've been doing these sparkly waters, and they started now to move into hops. So we've got one here with citra hops, cryo pop, and bitter orange. We have this one has citra hops and cryo pop, and this is a mojito one, which I haven't had
tried that one.
No, I haven't tried it either. Okay. I've been buying these, I want to say a solid year. Yeah. Every single time they come out, I definitely buy a bunch of these. And I started getting them more and more. Mm-hmm. And then they dropped their craft options. So they started off with three, how are you looking at it?
Yeah, great.
With three IPAs that are test IPAs, V1, 2, and 3. We bought all three of those, and they did a sour test. Mm-hmm. So Stay Classy is their hazy IPA that was a result of those tests. I swear they had another beer called Stay Classy that was low ABV, and they just kept the branding because it's pretty fire.
Yeah.
So this is their hazy one. Fantastic. Like,
so good.
So good.
So
like
good.
It's
I
so
really
good.
like that one.
And then, of course, this was the genius move from Bellwoods. The Jelly Kings. They turned their, cucumber, good boy. Their flagship dry hop sour, Jelly King, and then the raspberry blackberry version into non-alcoholic versions. And what we're going to do today is actually compare OG Jelly King to the non-alcoholic, which I'm quite excited about.
Because I am loving the non-alcoholic Jelly King. I actually want to try the OG because I forgot what it tasted like because I'm just so digging the non-alcoholic one. I'm like, why do I need to drink the other one for? Yeah. Sorry, I mean, with peace and love, I'm just like, it's just so perfect. I'm like, it's doing so well. So I do want to drink
cheaper, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, now it's like, it's less calories, it's not alcohol, which is what we're trying to achieve sometimes, some of these days. And it really just tastes so good. Yeah. Like, really good.
Like, super impressed. And this was, Bellwoods actually reached out to send these to us, which is obviously, like, Bellwoods have been one of our favorites, if not my favorite, for forever. So that was really exciting. But fortunately for us, we had just bought a case of all of these, which is a 4-pack of each. 4-pack of each or 6-pack of each? I'm bad at math. 6-pack of each. No. There's 6 beers, so 4 of each. There you go. So 3 beers and 3 waters. So we already had all of these, so we've already tried them. So I thought, you know what, let's give them some love on the pod, and we wanted to do this anyway. So we went out to LCBO today to find, and we can show that right here. Let me hold it. So I don't know.
I was giving them a berry.
A Barrington, sorry.
In the interlude. It was just a small interlude.
Hey, look, there's Barry. Look at it. Just sitting on the old shoe there. So we have the bottle, which I don't know how old this one is because I don't date stamp these ones. It was in LCBO out here.
And Fortinos.
And Fortinos. Was it in a can or bottle? It was a bottle too. Yeah. So I don't know if they distributed the cans yet. I was hoping to get a can. Not that it makes a difference, but I don't know. To try and do it as close as possible and arguably as fresh. So even the branding's basically the same pattern, just slightly different colors and stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not exactly the same pattern. It's similar.
Yeah, it's just similar. It's like a nod to it.
It's just a double nod. They kill it.
Yeah.
So you got 0.5 alcohol versus the 5.6 there. I don't know if there are any other differences in this. Okay, what they do on non-alcoholic products is they list the calories and stuff. You can show that there. I don't know, can you read it? Because I'm holding it away from you now.
That's also one thing I enjoy that you didn't.
There you go.
That you don't get with the non-alcoholics.
Start
with the alcohol. Yeah. So with the non-alcoholic, you can really just see what you're doing, just like you would on any other food or drink. Because I do think if people actually saw the amount of calories in craft beer,
and if there's 97 calories
in a day,
so you can imagine a dry
97 calories. This is chill. This is
imagine
so chill.
What 7
ACIPA
carbs.
Has. Yeah, exactly. So this is like great. This is like what you get. Whatever you're drinking a non-water. So
yep, exactly.
That's fair. Yeah.
So we're gonna do this completely. What's the opposite of blind?
We're just having a taste test.
We're just gonna taste them. So we'll just pour. Okay, so we'll do the non-alcohol. Pour them in the same glass. Can you see? Yep. I'm just gonna. There we go. So we'll just do a little bit because we're gonna use all 3 of these glasses afterwards. Unless you want to keep drinking for a bit while we talk about it. Ooh, yeah, yummy. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can smell it from here. Like, It does smell like, I don't know which format they use for the non-alcoholics, to be honest. They're doing a tasting event. I don't know if I think it might be next week before this episode drops. There's not a lot of head on the non-alcoholic version now, as you can tell. Non-alcoholic first. See, if you want the one with the head, you probably got the most sort of. So looking at the color, let's put them side by side. At least let's hold one of the alcoholic ones. Let me take that one. Okay. So the non-alc is like definitely a straw paler. Yellow.
Yeah. It's definitely paler and a little bit more opaque too.
Definitely a little more opaque. It's just very different actually. So the
noses are completely different.
It smells like a hay bear, like a non-alcoholic nose. Oof, and it's much like denser, sweeter. Obviously, there's more malt happening, so there's more going on in the alcoholic one.
Like the non-alcoholic just smells kind of almost like water or something. Not like it's just so much lighter. Distinct... Yeah, it's like non-alcoholic beer has. I need to understand the full how this is made.
Barrington's just itching for it.
I know. And then when we look at, because he sees us inhaling so deeply.
You want to smell
beer? Where like the alcoholic one, has a ton of different aromas coming off of it. So, okay.
Okay. Well,
all right, let's try. So,
okay, yes, go.
I just want to say to the camera, because we're also clicking for YouTube, so I like to keep things succinct. Okay. So we're testing the non-alcoholic Jelly King, which is in this glass here, against the alcoholed Jelly King.
Alcoholic is fine, probably.
Yeah, I was like, alcoholic just seems like
non-alcoholic.
Yeah,
I search you.
Yeah, alcoholic Jelly King. Okay, so this one here.
No booze.
No booze.
Get that in there.
Delicious.
So it's definitely, it's a sour beer. It's it's like sort of relatively light. I've had lighter alcoholic ones, to be honest. It's still pretty subtle. It's mouth feels light. It's not super sharp carb, and usually that could explain the lack of head, maybe. You can tell it's hop. There's definitely a lot of hops in there. Citrus, lots of lemon. That little puckering thing in the back of your mouth there. But it's solid, and I fucks with it. Alcohol. Get that in there.
Well, this is a lot more sour, too.
Yeah, it's a lot more sour. Ooh. It's not as cold as when you got it today. It hasn't been in the fridge quite as long. The other one's been in for like a week or whatever. I feel like it's just more intense flavors, sweeter.
A lot more intense. A lot more puckery.
Creamier. Like, a more thicker mouthfeel. Pause. It's definitely more different than I thought.
It's actually much more different than I thought, but they're both so delicious in their own way. It's almost like the non-alcoholic beer just tastes like a different nice sour beer. Because it really just doesn't...
It's like a derivative of it.
Yeah.
It's not identical. I thought
because it's not even like I'm drinking this and saying like, oh, this one has alcohol for sure.
One. Yeah, well...
And this one doesn't. It's not even really giving me that so aggressively, like where I'm thinking like, I don't know, sometimes you have like non-alcoholic wines and things like that where you're like, well, I'm really missing out. Like you see where I really lost. And the non-alcoholic gins a lot of the time too, it just feels so like I'm not... I remember before with non-alcoholic beers, I'm like, what's the point if it doesn't have alcohol?
Yeah.
It's so silly.
that's
literally how we used to think because they tasted so bad. Yeah. This tastes so good. It's like these are just two good products. Like they're both two just different good products. And even though this is like a derivative, it's not. I don't feel like I'm losing or missing out by having the non-alcoholic version, which I think is so interesting and so key.
I feel like the non-alcoholic products now are starting to come into non-alcoholic beers, like actually de-alcoholized or arrested fermentation. I can't remember which. I don't know who does which method or which one's the best way. I always forget. But seeing that, and I think this is the first time, I don't know if you've seen it, where I've seen someone take an existing brand, a strong brand, like Jelly King's, very strong, and made a non-alcoholic version of that. So they're tapping directly into their like fan base of that beer. Yeah. It's super popular. There's in LCBOs now. They've got 8 trillion variants, like merch, all this stuff. And now they're just, like I said, just having to create this new product. still Jelly King. It looks almost identical, just says non-alcoholic across the top.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually a genius marketing move.
Can I tell you something wild?
Please.
Can I tell you something so wild?
Wild me
I
out.
prefer the non-alcoholic version.
I was actually kind of thinking that too.
Oh my gosh, really? That's so crazy.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it either, but
no, it's just like, you know, that's how good it is. I'm like, I don't know, I kind of just like,
I like
love to drink this
it's just
all
like,
day.
It's a little more like,
it's
like,
more intense, so maybe it's just like, if you just want something more, of course, no, it's like a wonderful, really, really good beer. It's just like, I just want this one. I'm like, I know this is nice, and I would just chill and drink it, and I feel like,
I don't, like you said before,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm missing something.
Mhm.
And I think that's the key thing. And that's what's been able to get us through, like, the times when it was a little difficult. Like, even me doing the extra night, I haven't even felt a minor urge to go and drink.
Yeah.
And it's like the experience of this is like vaping to quit smoking.
Yeah.
Like, not that we're trying to quit drink, obviously not. But, like, it scratches the itch when you go in the fridge, you pull out a can, you do the cracking,
Exactly.
you pour it into a glass, you take
all the
put it on
motions.
social.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. It's just you
Yeah.
don't end up drunk.
Yeah.
And you have one. Sometimes if we're like hanging out.
Yeah, if it's like been earlier in the day we started drinking it or something like that, then I have two.
Like
but literally, I'm even having only one, which I think is also interesting because then you'd more likely have like 4 alcoholic beers. It's like easier to just have like one non-alcoholic, but that was great. That was nice with dinner and a little bit after, whatever, chilling. But then it's like when you drink alcohol, for me at least, I can't say for everybody, I'm like, great, what's the next one I'm going to have now after this one?
I'm always
Or I'm already thinking about what is it? Well,
on Saturday night when we're doing this, I'm ready to drink the night. Like,
yeah, it's just very interesting, the difference in the mentality, everything around it, and it just feels good not to drink because it tastes good, and that just didn't exist before. Like, literally before, I felt like when I drank non-alcoholic beer, I was like, why are you doing this? This is so stupid. Yeah. I was like, this is awful. It's so dumb. But now I'm like, this is great. Like, it's so good. It's just that it's the product needed to be perfected, and I really think it is. It's really interesting, and I really see this going very, very far. I am curious to see even like what it does, because I just feel like also you're bringing people in the craft world in another angle, which I think is just also smart too.
It's a great point. Yeah. And a lot of people are conscious of health, weight, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And also budgetary things.
Super happy with this, honestly. Really, really love what Bellwoods has done. It's just like making me excited. I feel like excited about non-alcoholic beer.
Honestly, I'm amped
it's
about
so
it.
interesting. Yeah,
it makes
so funny.
The non-drinking days, I'm not like, it's Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just like, which one am I gonna have?
Yeah, should I start off with a little like sparkling water, then move into a beer? Like you plan it in the same way you do the beers, and it's just like it's just made the like non-drinking things equally interesting.
Yeah.
So it takes you associate the fun with not drinking rather than like, I'm getting lit tonight type of thing, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it's going to take, I agree with you. I think this is very, very important. We said in the Future of Craft Beer that episode 115, I definitely suggest you guys check that out if you didn't already, that this is going to be something that's a big part of the success of craft beer as a whole globally moving forward. So Bellwoods getting on this at this point, I think is great. I think they're relatively early movers, not the earliest, because obviously Labocal did it probably 5 years ago. So.
And they set the standard for things in a lot of ways, often. So I think this is a good move. The fact that they're doing it is probably going to start getting trickling down to the others.
So that was the Bellwoods stuff. We just really want to give that the shine because that's one thing that's been really impressing us over the last few weeks. And I love that there's a mix of the sparkling waters, and then they've got, at least a hazy IPA and Jelly Kings. And my bet is that they're going to be working on more, being how much they're pushing this. And I think I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm excited to see, like you said, I know Bellwoods aren't the pinnacle of trendy brewery like they were maybe in 2016 or 17 through like 2020ish or so. They're obviously still dominating. They're in a mature phase. That's what I mean. Yeah. So, but they're still very influential brewery in that sense. And I think that is going to rub off on a lot of people, like you're saying. So I feel like I'd be very excited to see what's going on.
And that's because we know craft people kill it and they make amazing things. So like, I think it'll be fun for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're all going to put their own creative spins, and, like, who knows where that's going to go next, like, once they've perfected, like, okay, like, we're perfecting IPA, sours, and all these things, maybe they'll start having fun with those, too. So who knows? It'll be very interesting to see. It'll be cool.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe take some other brands.
Comes in more and more. Yeah.
And then, I'm sure there's going to be further tweaking that they'll do, but I'm almost like, I don't even know. Now, like, having them side by side, I like the result of the...
Yeah, I love what they've done. It's perfect.
I just think, like you said... smash through that very quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll get the other ones, and
I'll get the other
start
stuff.
talking about Libra, or
yeah, start talking about Libra, and maybe I'll just pass you the can to begin with.